Live at 11, this is 13 News Now.
A Portsmouth high school math teacher is behind bars tonight, accused of selling heroin. Even more concerning, police say he was doing it near a school.
Michael McCormick turned himself in this morning. Chanuher has been following this story since it broke this afternoon. He has more.
Well, David, Regina, the 48-year-old was caught after a months-long investigation by the Norfolk DEA and narcotics detectives with Portsmouth police. He was arrested for 2 counts of having heroin with intent to distribute and 1 count selling near a school. Now, students past and present say they were shocked to see his mugshot.
Never a teacher for real, like that is just ridiculous.
In front of IC Norcom High School, current students and alumni stroll past. Sade Rivera still remembers her days in those hallways.
I graduated in 2013.
And the faces of teachers she still remembers, like Michael McCormick, a math teacher, she says.
That's crazy. It's really crazy, yeah.
Crazy to hear a teacher has been arrested, accused of having and selling heroin near school property. Police say McCormick never sold to students or on school property, but was within 1,000 feet with the drugs and sold it.
That's harmful to the kids. I don't know. They shouldn't be doing that.
It's disheartening and disappointing and disgusting.
Many say McCormick should be a leader, a role model.
He is supposed to be, at least someone that's respectable.
This is the wrong age to teach them that type of stuff, because that's when they really, vulnerable.
Rivera knows her brother is a sophomore at IC Norcom.
I wouldn't want my little brother around that.
She hopes when he's back in school this fall, things will be different. Now, Portsmouth Public Schools didn't confirm that the man in the mugshot is a teacher at IC Norcom. However, they told us they do have a teacher by the name of Michael McCormick who is on administrative leave. Chanuher, 13 News Now.
Virginia and North Carolina are taking steps to fight the opioid crisis. Today, Attorney General Mark Herring announced the Commonwealth is part of a nationwide investigation into opioid manufacturers. The coalition is looking at whether companies are unlawfully selling drugs in a way that leads to abuse. In North Carolina, State Senate Committee is looking at a bill dealing with prescribing rules. The law would limit how much doctors can prescribe to new patients.
A little girl is in the hospital after getting hit by a car tonight in Norfolk. Police tell us it happened just after 6:30 on Maple Avenue. That is off Granby Street in Ocean View. Witnesses believe she was running across the street to a playground. Police believe the girl is about 6 years old. She's at CHKD tonight. Despite the scare, police believe she will be okay.
A little kid came running across and the car was just driving, and it was just a direct hit.
Police say the driver remained on the scene, and we do not know the extent of the girl's injuries. Major developments tonight in the search for 2 escaped inmates who allegedly killed 2 Georgia prison guards. Tonight, Donnie Rowe and Ricky Dubose were captured in Christiana, Tennessee. The inmates escaped Tuesday morning after allegedly overpowering, disarming and killing 2 guards on a prison bus. Authorities had offered a $130,000 reward for information leading to their arrests.
More American troops are headed to war. Tonight, word that the Pentagon will send nearly 4,000 additional troops to Afghanistan. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis could make this official announcement as early as next week. We're told most of the U.S. forces will train and advise Afghan forces. A small number would be assigned to counter terror operations against the Taliban and the Islamic State. Tomorrow, President Trump is expected to announce a revised policy on Cuba. It would reverse President Obama's efforts to restore relations with the island after decades of estrangement. White House officials say President Trump is aiming to stop the flow of U.S. cash to Cuba's military, but U.S. flights and cruises would still be allowed. The moves would only be a partial reversal of President Obama's policies. Tonight, hospital officials in Washington say Congressman Steve Scalise remains in critical condition, but has improved in the last 24 hours.
Scalise underwent a 3rd surgery today. Officials say he will need even more operations.
And tonight was the annual Congressional baseball charity game. ABC's Lana Zach reports it was a show of unity after yesterday's mass shooting.
The very first pitch thrown by Special Agent David Bailey, who rushed into gunfire. This friendly rivalry, more than a century old between Republicans and Democrats, is more than a game. United. Both parties paying tribute to their colleagues still in critical condition. Representative Stephen Scalise. A standing ovation for him. Scalise was shot as the Republican team prepared for this game.
With him, Matt Mika, still in critical condition, and Capitol Police Officer Crystal Griner, listed by the hospital as being in good condition.
But those who could come did. Legislative aide Zach Barth and Congressman Roger Williams arrived on crutches. Some members of the first family were in attendance, but the president himself remained behind due to security concerns, sending instead this video.
The game will go on.
And we are learning more about the shooter, 66-year-old James Hodgkinson. Agents discovering his cell phone, computer, and an anti-Trump poster in the van that had been his home for the last few months. His wife still in disbelief.
I had no idea this was going to happen, and I don't know what to say about it.
6 years ago, Hodgkinson spoke to a local Fox affiliate in St. Louis about the Occupy Wall Street movement.
The 99% are getting pushed around, and the 1% are just not giving a damn.
But his actions and beliefs not splintering the political parties as much as bringing them together.
The mood here tonight was certainly a festive one. People held up signs like these and even traded congressional baseball cards. There was plenty of party and country pride on full display here, and they raised a lot of money for charity, well over $1 million. But we'll have to see how much that spirit of bipartisanship actually translates when everybody's back at the office. Reporting from Nationals Park, Lana Zach, ABC News.
Shocking developments today in the robbery that led to a Hampton police officer getting shot. Today we learned two of the suspects are charged in a 36-hour crime spree across Hampton roads. James Gregory and Leonard Morrison are accused of murdering two men in Virginia Beach on Sunday. The following day, they allegedly teamed up with a third man to rob a GameStop in Chesapeake. Hours later, they are accused of holding up a GameStop in Hampton. That is when Morrison allegedly shot an officer before another officer shot Morrison. Today we talked to a woman who knows the suspect. She says she isn't surprised to hear about their violent behavior.
He pulled out a gun on my sister and he said while I was on the phone with the police, I'm not scared of them. Tell them to come on. And he still was waving the gun around.
That woman says she lived with one of the suspects for the 2 weeks leading up to this week's crime spree, and now she's ready to move.
Today, a Virginia Beach judge found a former youth leader at Galilee Episcopal Church guilty of a sex crime. Jeffrey Bondi was found guilty of assaulting an 18-year-old girl. The victim testified during the trial and told us today's verdict is a step toward healing for her. The assault happened more than 15 years ago. After today's verdict, she addressed a key argument for the defense, why she waited so long to report what happened.
You don't always feel at first that you understand the entire thing. It's very complicated when it's somebody that you know and trust and loved.
Viola now lives in California and does stand-up comedy. She told us she has no issues with herself being identified here, and she's coming back in October for Bondi's sentencing. He will remain out on bond until then. His conviction carries a possible sentence of 5 years to life.
The jury in the Bill Cosby sex assault trial will resume deliberations tomorrow morning. Jurors worked late into the night after the judge asked them to try again, even though they declared that they were deadlocked. They've deliberated nearly 40 hours over 4 days. Cosby is accused of assaulting a woman. A conviction could put him in prison for the rest of his life.
Norfolk police and the Navy are looking for a missing sailor. NCIS tells us Gage Brady left the USS Wasp around 10:30 Saturday night. Investigators say he was going to pick up a friend, but he never returned. Police say when they called Brady's cell phone, someone else answered and said he found the phone outside a 7-Eleven. We're also told someone used Brady's debit card in Kentucky and Missouri. Brady was last seen driving his black 2011 Chevrolet Impala. Chesapeake woman has been missing for nearly 2 weeks now. 77-year-old Juanita Caulfield wandered away from her home on Benefit Road. We're told she has dementia. Teams set up a command center to search the area near her home. Officials tell us they suspended the major ground effort over the weekend, but they are continuing to investigate.
A lightning strike caused a fire that destroyed a church in Portsmouth last night. The fire marshal confirmed that information today. We first told you about this last night. Mount Sinai United Holy Church on Columbus Avenue was badly damaged. The congregation of Miracle Christian Center also uses the building. No one was inside the building at the time of the fire.
Plan to ease traffic.